Hello class, today we're going to be talking about 10-2 compound interest, and it's a lot different than what we did in the last video in simple interest. And that compound interest, we're not going to calculate the interest once at the end. It's going to be each year that we're going to calculate our interest. And also if you take a look at the formula, in simple interest we had I equals, because in simple we only found the interest that we earned or have to pay back. In this case, compound interest, the formula is going to give us the total amount. It's going to give us the principal added with the interest that we've gained throughout our loan or our savings. And so if we look at A for the total amount, we can put an arrow next to that. Total amount. And we have our P, which still means principal. And then we have 1 plus R, so 1 plus the rate. And remember, the rate is always a percentage that we're going to change into a decimal when we put it into our formula. So rate. And then we have T for time. So it's different from simple interest in that, say we're dealing with a 5-year period. We're going to calculate our interest each year for those 5 years rather than once at the very end. So we're going to go ahead and look at this first example. Throughout this video, we're going to do the same problems that we did with simple interest so that you can kind of flip back and forth and see the differences between the two. So here we have a $2,000 that we invested at a 2.5% interest rate over a 4-year period of time. So just like before, we're going to plug it in to our formula. So we have A equals the total amount. The principal is going to be how much money? $2,000. And then we have 1 plus the rate. Well, our rate is 2.5%. We need to change it to a decimal. So we got to move it to the left 2 places. So 1 plus 0.025. And then we got to raise that to the number of years. So we're dealing with 4 years. So we have 2,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.025 raised to the 4th power. Let me go ahead and type that into our calculator. And it's going to look at something like this. And so we can go ahead and hit enter. And that's what we get. And now remember, we're dealing with money, so we're always going to round to the nearest hundred. We want to round to the nearest cent. So here we got 2,207 and then 63 cents. Now remember, this number is not the interest, it's the principal added on with the interest that we got. And so if we want to calculate how much compound interest we gathered with this principal, we have to subtract our original amount. So we can subtract out 2,000 and we get 207.63 cents. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the second example, same one from the last video. Our principal is $10,000. We have a rate of 5% over 10 years. And so we want to find the compound interest of what we got here. So we're just going to plug it in like normal. 10,000 is our principal. We're going to multiply that by 1 plus our rate. So 1 plus, we have a 5% rate. So we're going to write that as 0.05. And then we're going to do it over a 10-year period. So we're going to raise it to the 10th power. And so when we type in our calculator, again, it's going to look something like that. We hit enter, and that's what we get. And now since we're dealing with money, we have to round to the nearest cent. So it's going to be $16,288.95. And now remember, this amount is not the interest, it's the principal with the interest. So if the question asks how much compound interest do we get, we need to subtract out our principal once we get here. So we subtract out 10,000, we'll get $6,288.95. Here's your practice problem for tonight's video. What you'll do, you have a $5,200 principal, a 4.5 interest rate at over a 20-year period. And so be sure you're calculating the compound interest only. So be sure you're following our steps that we did in the previous 2 problems and submit it through Edmodo once you're done.